Imagine you have a toddler, one who consistently throws tantrums, and in the moment, you don't really know what to do, so you decide to handle it by giving them a toy or a sweet treat, and before you know it, this is how you handle all their tantrums. And even though the toddler might not know better, but in their mind, they've grown an understanding that if I throw this tantrum, if I scream and shout, I'll get what I want, a toy or a sweet treat. But let's say one day you start to realize that handling their tantrums this way is enabling them to throw more frequent tantrums. So the next time they throw one, you decide not to give them what they want. But it's become such a normal routine for them that your toddler doesn't understand what's going on. I'm throwing my tantrum, why am I not getting my sweet treat? Where's my toy? Maybe I should scream louder. Maybe I should stomp my feet harder. Maybe I should start throwing things. This is the representation SM Entertainment has now shown all toxic fans, that if they scream a little louder, they stomp their feet a little harder, and even become violent, they'll get them what they want. SM's first mistake was not protecting their artists. When the private pictures of Seunghan before he was even an idol were released, SM should have taken legal action immediately. I find it funny that when these pictures were first posted, it was the fans that were very quick to make up theories that these pictures were probably released by somebody close to Seunghan, whether it was an ex-close friend or an ex-trainee. Either way, this speculation was talked about widely on social platforms. And with all the money and legal capability that SM Entertainment has, they never even tried to get to the bottom of this case to figure out who was posting these pictures. And with this situation, I find it even more insane that his company and some Korean fans were more so focused on what he was doing in the pictures rather than the fact that his privacy had been invaded and somebody he probably trusted were posting these pictures online as a threat. The second mistake that they made was putting him on hiatus. Or more so, it was a mistake to not clarify the reason for his hiatus. Leaving fans with uncertainty can cause an uproar among everyone, causing fans who want him in the group to think that he is quietly being removed, and fans who do not want him in the group to think that they have won, which feeds into their ego and entitlement. And when you decide to finally bring him back to the group, because those certain fans are already on a power trip, it leads them to believe that they are able to dictate who is allowed to be in the group and who is not. And since they think that last time the uproar was enough to get him kicked out of the group, doing it again, this time louder and more aggressive, is enough to get him completely removed from the group officially. But these are those types of situations that would literally blow over if firstly SM would have taken legal action, and secondly they would have continued on with their schedules with all 7 members. Because even though yes, there were a ton of immature, delusional fans who wanted him out of the group, there was also an abundance of sane, mature fans who were viewing the situation as not a real scandal. And that goes for Korean fans as well as international fans. Because while the Rise of 6 fans were mostly, if not only, Korean fans, I don't want to necessarily group all the Korean fans together because I did see a good amount of them who were supporting Seunghan and still want Rise to be 7. But I still really do believe that if they literally would have just treated this situation as if it wasn't a real scandal, because it wasn't, it would have just passed. But now we have toxic, immature fans dictating what happens to a group and its members, because SM Entertainment is a company that cares more about how a scandal affects their money instead of how it affects their artists. And I've seen a lot of people say that, well, this hiatus was Seunghan's idea and him leaving the group was his idea, but let's not forget how much control SM has over their idols and artists, especially those who are still fresh into the company. Like so many other K-pop companies, SM controls a lot of how their artists appear, what they say, and do. SM particularly stays with the rule that their artists are perfect in every single way, which sounds like to me that their idols are heavily manufactured and modified. And if a brand new SM group's image is tainted, remember, by their standards, they're going to make sure to cut off anything that could potentially ruin the group's reputation and image further, or cut off and change anything that keeps them from being successful. Sadly, in this scenario, it's Seunghan. And even though, yes, to our eyes, this situation is merely a teenager being a teenager and doing normal activities, in SM Entertainment's eyes, it looks like an uncontrolled and unprofessional professional idol. So I would not be surprised if SM themselves were somehow getting into his head that he was the issue and he was the reason why Rise would not be successful if he were to stay, despite the fact that the members themselves and so many fans wanted him back. But this is what happens whenever your perfectly curated idol image is broken by your artist's normalcy. Fans who wholeheartedly believed in this image will become upset. Once the facade of what a fan with an extremely bad parasocial mentality thinks an idol should be or wants an idol to be is completely shattered, they can become very scary and act out in violent, hateful, and spiteful ways against the artist. The amount of death threats Seunghan was sent over a situation as minuscule as this one is actually so insane. We've seen idols who have done actual crimes not even get treated like this. But these are the type of fans that this industry creates and feeds. SM's way of promoting Rise in the beginning even backfired on them, but they promoted Rise as if they were these free idols who could say and do what they want, interact with fans online, and they're supposed to be these extremely relatable idols, which I think that a good amount of fans, including myself, definitely took all of that with a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, they are still idols and they're from SM Entertainment at that. But this way of promoting them definitely looked like they're pushing more towards international fans, with them again being promoted as this relatable group that international fans specifically could interact with them and understand. But the Seunghan scandal really showed SM's manufactured way of promoting, and with how SM handled the situation, a lot of fans' eyes were once opened again to the fact that idols are still idols who are a part of a corrupt and unfair industry where fans can complain about an idol having a normal life and somehow the idol is the one who gets punished for it. It also exposed how many fans that are out there that act like they care about these artists and support these artists, but as soon as they do something that they don't like, how quickly they can turn their back on you. And apparently, so can your company. Because like I said, when stuff like this happens, companies are so focused on damage control to their money and to their group's success, rather than thinking about how this could mentally affect their artist. But that's only because the industry is so focused on money. Because of the society it exists in, where getting ahead, your reputation, and how you appear to others matters more than your mental and physical health. And if you're putting that against other international cultures where morals, beliefs, and much more can be different, it causes a clash. K-pop companies want international fame and international fans so bad, but they don't want to respect or even listen to what we have to say. They want our support and our money, but they can't actually do what it takes to keep our support and our money. But in reality, their main target and main audience will always be their Korean fans. That is who they will listen to because they are who are most important. Korea is also a very prideful place, so it does make sense that they will always stick beside their Korean audience and listen to what they want and bend over backwards for what they want. But K-pop companies also have to realize that you cannot walk all over international fans and ignore our opinions, but still expect us to support your artist and give you all the money that you think you deserve. And international fans are finally starting to wake up and realize this. There are so many fans now that are boycotting Rise. They're unfollowing their accounts. They're saying they are not even interested in the group anymore if Seunghan's not in it. They are actually taking a stand. Rise's follower list has started to drop on many different social media accounts as fans of Rise have been trying to get SM Entertainment's attention and send them a message that they cannot just treat their artists any kind of way and still expect fans to be there to support the company. There's even been a surge in many fans unfollowing every single artist under the company itself, voicing for SM Entertainment to protect their artist. As we all know, this situation is so hard for Seunghan on so many different levels. Feeling like you don't belong to the group that you've worked so hard and deserve to be in must be so excruciating, on top of the fact that you're being treated like a criminal for literally doing nothing wrong. He's so young. I can only imagine how this is going to affect his growth mentally. This type of stuff is something that can traumatize you for life. Now that he's out of the group, how does he move back into the public eye and have a normal normal life. The anxiety he must feel to even go out in public by himself for food, or to just go shopping, or to just walk around. But not only that, he's an idol who literally dropped everything to be in this industry. He trained for years, and this is possibly the only life that he knows. It's so heartbreaking because watching him perform, you just know that he was meant to do this job. He is so extremely talented, and he doesn't deserve any of this. It's so sad and frustrating to see somebody get pulled back from their dream, from their life, because a couple of inconsiderate, immature, narcissistic fans couldn't take an idol having a relationship or just doing normal teenage things prior to being an idol. And once again, I still blame SM Entertainment so much because toxic fans are always going to be toxic. They'll never go away. But it would definitely help if SM Entertainment took action against them and stopped the hatred and protected their idol. And with how devastating this situation has been for Seunghan and Rise and the entirety of the K-pop industry and fans, I cannot blame people for saying that they want to take a step back from K-pop in general. This industry affects idols tremendously, but it affects fans too, because who wants to sit back and watch their favorite artists get treated horribly and feel like they can't do anything to stop it? All I can hope for Seunghan is that he has a ton of supportive people around him, that his family is being supportive, he has some friends being supportive and loving and caring and understanding of his situation, and someone there to tell him that he did nothing wrong, someone there to tell him that he doesn't deserve any of this, and someone there to tell him that it's okay that he decided to step away from the industry that allows this type of behavior to happen. After so many instances where celebrities have decided to take their own lives because of situations like this, you would think that these fans would learn how to be kind, how to be nicer, how to voice your opinions without literally hurting the artists and idols that you're talking about. And every time a situation like this happens and a celebrity decides to take their own life, they're the main ones at the face of all the comments of sympathy saying how bad they feel for the celebrity and how people need to be nicer. All I want is for him to be okay. I know that a lot of people want him back and Rise, but I don't really think that's the best scenario for him, since SM has proven that they not only do not care about him, but they have failed to protect him as well. So bringing him back into a situation where he most likely will not be protected and at the same time open to getting even more hate, it might not be the best scenario for his own mental health. All I want to see is that he comes back stronger and better from this, whether he decides to stay within the industry and come back as a soloist, or he decides to venture out and find a brand new career for himself to where he is happy and healthier there. But I will say, if he does decide to go solo, the way the support for him will be so insane. There are so many people who weren't even fans of Rise happy to see him back in the group and were actually saying that they were going to tune in to their comeback specifically just to see Seunghan. So he does have a lot of support out there, and I want him to know this. Even if again he decides to not come back to the industry, I hope he knows how much support he really did have and still has and always will have. And a lot of times in these types of situations, or just situations in general in life, even though you might be surrounded with so much positivity and love, sometimes just a little bit of negativity is enough to feel like the world is crashing down on you. And that's something that I dearly hope is not happening to him. I hope that the simple rays of sunlight that shine through all the negativity that he's been receiving for months now is enough to keep him pushing and growing healthier and stronger every day and getting through this horrible, unfair situation. I hope he realizes that he is the victim in the situation and how much those fans and his company wronged him and not the other way around. He can get through this, and I hope there's enough people around him letting him know that this is a bump in the road to his success. And one day, I hope he's able to look back at the situation and laugh at how foolish, shameful, and disgusting those so-called fans and his company were for treating him the way that they did. With my conclusion, with all that has been said in this video, SM Entertainment should have and could have protected him, but they just didn't want to. That's the issue with this company. They pride themselves on having perfect idols that are manufactured to be the face of what it means to be parasocial. And whenever an idol of their own steps out of that manufactured world and is exposed for doing anything but being perfect, there becomes an issue. Not with the world that SM Entertainment has built around this idol, but with the idol instead. Because how could SM Entertainment allow 1,000 funeral wreaths to be sent to their property, sit out there for days, and not even attempt to remove them? If they really cared about Seunghan, they would have been removing those wreaths within minutes, hours, or at least a day. This situation to me also sounds like a threat to other SM idols and trainees, that this is what happens whenever you step out of line, when you don't follow the rules. We won't protect you, and you can be kicked out. There have been many cases where SM Entertainment has failed to protect their artists, and I mean many, but all these situations have different outcomes, depending on how long an idol has been in the group, depending on how popular the member is, which is all just depending on how much money the idol or group makes. SM believes that Seunghan was not a popular member of the group, nor was he the face of the group, and since whenever he was put on hiatus, Rise still was very successful, they completely ruled him out as a necessity to Rise's success as a whole, which to them made it easier to completely rule him out of Rise's future. With how his responses were to all the situations and his letters he wrote, with him solely centering himself as the issue, and a company that wants to protect you, and a company that does anything and everything to make sure you are okay, there's no way you will have that type of mindset to think that the only way my group can survive is if I'm not there. It also sounds like a scared idol that is being forced out of the group by its fans and not being protected by his company. This entire situation started and grew because SM failed to protect him. Please let me know your opinions down below, and remember to remain respectful. Thank you for watching. I hope everyone has an amazing day. Bye bye.